I'd like to go back to some of the external causes for human suffering in getting to the root of the issues and what exactly must change in our society in order for us to find true happiness and stop that desire for us to, whether literally mutilate ourselves and have these self-destructive tendencies, or metaphorically, mutilate and destroy our happiness, let's say. And first and foremost would be this money-based paradigm that we're all forced to have to deal with. Okay? And, until we get to the bottom, the root of this miasma, this source of basic human suffering that's imposed, invented, it's artificial, it's conjured up by what amount to a gaggle of ruthless, soulless, murderous thugs. These are haters of humanity. They are inhuman. For all intents and purposes, they might as well be an alien race. And these people will fight tooth and nail. They will stop at nothing to get their way, and this is why they rule over us. Because they're willing to do things, they're willing to stoop to levels that normal people that value the idea that they have a soul, that they have a conscience, they have a heart and a mind, and they understand the importance of trying to obey those instincts, those mysterious instincts to do good. Those beautiful qualities that you wouldn't sell for any amount of money. If somebody offered you the whole earth, you'd say, no way, man. I'm not doing that thing. That means compromising my principles, my integrity, my heart, my soul, my conscience, my mind. I can't do it. I won't do it for anything. So you've got those people. And then you've got the other people that are ruling over us, that are creating the policies we're all conditioned to live by. And that's what they do. They condition us. They program us. Look at the television. They call it programming. They think we're all like their little computer, personal automatons. They want to just program us to think the way they want us to think, to behave the way they want us to behave. And no more, no less. They just want to continue on the path they're on, the status quo, and continue to increase the wealth disparity between haves and have-nots. They want to increase poverty. They want people to use less of the earth's resources. So, now they tell us like they're the benevolent ones so that we stop destroying the planet. But it's these same people that keep the clean, renewable, infinite sources of energy suppressed. Okay? These people talk out of, they're deceivers, they're hypocrites, they're liars, and they talk out of both sides of their mouths. Okay? Because they tell you, do what we say, don't do what we do. And these are the hypocrites. These are the ones that Jesus really railed on. These are the ones, these hypocrites, he said, he found them insufferable. And so he ranted and railed on these people. Remember him kicking over the tables of the money changers? I mean, this is Jesus said to be the Son of God, the Son of Man. I mean, this is the Holy One of Israel. And yet look at how he felt about the money. He saw, he knew how this was going to wind up for humanity. He knew the power that these sorcerers, these deceivers, these hypocrites had over us and how they were doing it. And each one of us has to get a glimpse and see through those eyes and understand how we've all been swindled, taken, hoodwinked by the system. It starts from birth, folks. Look, if your parents, are ill-informed, mal-informed, then what do they have to offer you, really? So your first education coming from them, and they've been hoodwinked by the system and ill-informed, misinformed, malinformed, then you go into the educational system, and your teachers too have been indoctrinated and told what to teach, what not to teach, and so therefore misinformed, disinformed, and they spew that stuff out to the students. And so there you come out of school, whether you completed only elementary or high school or went on to college. They're all together on the same page. They're all about keeping the establishment intact, keeping the status quo the way it is, keep the trend going the way it is for humanity. Okay, keep the bloodshed up. The 20th century was the bloodiest year in history. And then we've got the mainstream media out there being told what to say, what not to say, how to report it, how to slant it, how to twist it. And if they believe they're doing the right thing because they're helping to keep the establishment together, do you see how dangerous, how pernicious, how bad this whole situation is? The kind of trouble that we're in because of these very powerful positions these people are in. These grand policymakers are manipulating us every which way from Sunday. And we all want to believe that somehow it all makes sense. And somehow if we follow the recipe, if we listen to these people and follow the rules of the game, which we all know are corrupt and they're completely slanted to favor, you know, the status quo and keep things on track, then somehow we'll get ahead and things will be okay. If we just do what we're told, go get a great education, go get a great job, and just worry about yourself. Can't worry about others. Just take care of old number one. Make sure your bank account is growing. Make sure you can be a homeowner, because that's the greatest measure of prosperity. And of course, prosperity and success in our culture are, one and the same thing. So we've got to understand what true success is. True success is attaining wisdom, knowledge, and these things don't change with time. Values are the same today as they were thousands of years ago. Ethics are the same today as they were thousands of years ago. Morals are the same today as they were thousands of years ago. Okay, God doesn't change. Good doesn't change. Definitions don't change, although these people want the definitions to change. They want to twist everything so that we're confused, so that everything is nebulous, so that they can muddy the waters and keep us disempowered. Because as long as you have doubt, you're not confident in what you think and say and do. And that's the way they like you. They don't want their automatons to be empowered. They want you disempowered. So I contend that true success is attaining true knowledge, valuable knowledge, wisdom. This is valuable education. This is valuable learning. This is the stuff that's going to save your soul. That's going to, in the long run, bring you true happiness. It might be more difficult for the moment, because standing up against the forces of evil, standing up to the establishment, to the machine, to the system, is very difficult because you're going against the flow. You're going against everything everybody has learned from cradle, okay? From the day they were born, what they've learned from their parents, what they've learned from their teachers, what they've learned from mainstream media, what they've learned from the universities, and what they've learned from people that espouse common sense in general. What's pragmatic, what's impractical, what's practical, what's common sense, and what's not. Okay? So, you've really got to get clear-minded. You've got to ask. You've got to say, God, please, reveal to me truth from lies. I want to see straight. I want to have a pure heart. I want to know right from wrong. Okay, I don't want to go to a more painful place when I leave here. I want to go to a better place. I want to go to this place called heaven. I want to live in a society where everyone around me is free, where I know that nobody is serving me for any ulterior motive, for any false god called money. I want to know they're doing it because they want to do it. And that's the only reason I want them to serve me. I want them to know that their basic needs are met not because of human will, but because of divine will. That it was God's will that no man, no woman on earth lived insecurely. That everybody on earth, to the best of our ability, avoided famine with the wherewithal God gave us to create enough crops, to create sufficient water to water the crops, to create plenty of housing so that everybody on earth was housed, and we could have extra housing. So anybody on earth could move anywhere they want on the planet at any given time and find housing available in the basic locale that they wanted to hang out for a while. Any of us at any time. That's the society. That's the world we could have right now, folks. Plentiful, clean drinking water everywhere. Plentiful, good food, healthy food everywhere. Plentiful housing everywhere, folks. That's the world that we could have if we would just adhere to the teachings of Jesus, to what God wants for us. And it's what makes sense, what's logical, that God cannot be good and bad. God is only good, and his intentions, his will for us is only good. And we have to go out and teach these things. And preach is teach, and it's all the same thing. Is that we've got to just go out and be proponents of right and stand up against wrong and help people to understand the root cause of all our unnecessary human suffering, and that is these top policymakers. They are Satanists. A lot of them are outright, overtly Satanists, and they want to keep the status quo going. They just want to keep things going the way they are. To what end? I mean, this thing has to end badly, and they know it. That's why they're, right out in our faces saying, yes, we need to depopulate, and we'll do everything we can. We'll keep the people poor so that they don't have any incentive to go out and breed, because, if a guy can't take care of himself, he sure as heck isn't going to want to go out there and, start courting some beautiful woman and have children, because he can't take care of himself financially. So they produce artificial scarcity.